Hello, hello, hello everybody, and welcome to Silverstone for round number 6 of the Tier 1 season here in Season 4 of LRC. As you can see, just like last week, the session has already gotten well underway, but thankfully Spinato has been in the session this time. He joins me in the commentary box today, and he can take you through what's been happening so far now.
Yeah, so we've got the fight for pole is definitely on. You can see the top three separated by hundredths. As you can see, Shadow's basically 200ths away from Lamar Yes's time. Okram 600ths away from Lamar Yes's time, and Lrc and Frosty both very well near Lamar Yes's time. It's 2/10 and 5/10 for Frosty. And well, we've got qualifying well underway, and Okram actually started the session basically got the laps underway. Then annoyingly enough for him, abandoned the lap very early on. Jerem Beat also had a bit of a spin at, I think that was Brooklands. Yeah, it just went round into the barrier, no damage that I could see. And yeah, as we've got a bit of traffic at the last corner, everyone wants to get underway, and we are going to get underway. And well, what follows from this point onwards are some quick laps. So I think people wanting to get underway is Lamar Yes's and Shadow, two of our fastest so far, and I think they could you could follow us through for a lap of Silverstone actually.
Well, I was just taking a look at Afari at the minute. He's starting a lap as well, but we can head over and see who's getting underway. Like you say, Shadow is making his way through the final corners now at Stowe and heading towards the Vale Chicane. Of course, we are looking at clear skies in Silverstone today, which is, well, not entirely accurate to what I saw outside, but that doesn't matter, because it means that we are going to have some very good racing on our hands. And here we go then, with Shadow taking us away for a lap of the Silverstone circuit at full pelt in qualifying. Very fast through turns 1 and 2, looking nice and tidy through there. Just got to try and keep it within the track limits. Hits the brakes nicely for turn 3, clips the apex as well. Just got to keep it off of those red sausage curbs, get the best traction you possibly can through Aintree here, and Shadow does it very nicely there. Now onto the back straight here, heading towards Brooklands and Luffield, the left-right-hander, very long section, as you can see one of the McLaren's getting out of the way. Hits the apex nicely there, so very late apex and then into an early apex. There's a few different lines you can take through Luffield, but Shadow's gone for a little bit of a V-shape there, but it cost him on the exit. It is quite hard to nail that line, and you can see Shadow was struggling with it just a little bit there, as he heads towards Copse Corner now, the fastest turn on the track, almost flat out, but it looked like maybe just backing out a touch for Shadow there, but still pretty much flat and carrying a lot of speed now into Maggots and Beckett's. It's fast and then slowing down S section, a little bit wide on the third apex there, but tidies it up through the fourth and fifth out of Chapel now down the hanger straight, picking up to the highest speed on the lap. DRS wide open. It's looking like a pretty good lap so far for Shadow. He goes into Stowe now, just keeps it a little bit off the curb, rides the curb fully on the exit though, and now into the Vale Chicane here, clips that, well, it takes a whole heap of curb there from the sleeping policeman, and now into the final corner, through Club Corner, across the line, he goes P1 ahead of Lamar now, only just though.
And Lamar, yes, actually finishing his lap, onto the hanger straight he goes. He's actually validated his lap, so he's not going to get to finish his masterpiece just yet. Aero jumped up to P4 earlier in the session. He sat out the first 8 minutes, I think, with game issues. I think so have you. And Lrc, for a bit of a spin here out of the last corner, he got the power down, I think, a bit too early. That was looking like a good lap from Lrc.
Yeah, that will that'll cost him time. But, yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to go for another one straight away, because his exit through the final corner will be massively compromised there, so I'll have to wait and see. I'd imagine he'll be back into the pits at the end of this one. We've got a yellow in sector 3 somewhere as well, which is for, well, that's just for a slow car. At the start lap, you can see the Red Bull of Frosty here, making his way through the final couple of corners now, and to the final corner. Is Frosty going to be able to improve here? Yes, he is. Yep. Jumps up to 4th place, so the reserve filling in at Red Bull today is going to set a pretty solid time there to get up into 4th place in the session, and, well, I mean, just look how close the gap is for the top 6 cars, split by only 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, and obviously Lamar will lose a bit of time. It's going to be about 5 minutes till the end of the session, so Lamar will have to change his tyres. Obviously, God, again, it's going to be all or nothing for that last lap. But Okram, I think, is also underway with his lap right now, going onto the Wellington straight right here, DRS wide open. Okram, known for running low wing setups, is well underway into trying to get provisional pole in Silverstone. As he goes, I think that's Brooklyn's right there. You're saying?
Loses on the exit. That is not ideal for
to the old pit lane. Welcoming him, but I don't think that's where he wants to be right now.
Not at all. That is not good for him in the slightest. He's struggling on the hot tyres there, and I'm sure he'll make his way underway again in a second. Got to make sure that the track is clear, which you can see, thankfully, it is behind him. But yeah, at least he's got a decent banker time in this time. He's struggled a little bit in the previous couple of qualifying sessions. He did get, I believe, he got 3rd place last time in Austria, if I'm not mistaken. So not too bad, but before that he was struggling a little bit in Portimao and Baku, so hopefully it's a smooth qualifying for him today, but with a little bit of a hiccup already there on the exit of turn 7, I believe that is, and it is quite easy to do there. Luffield, a very tricky one to get the power down, and you very often see drivers getting oversteer there. I remember Sebastian Vettel in the real life race a few years ago got a huge spin on out of there, which was a big shame for him, but hopefully we won't be seeing any more of that from the drivers today, but I wouldn't be surprised if we did, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I mean, that happened to Chermby earlier on, but the difference with Chermby is he was going basically into the entry of the corner, while I think for Akram, obviously traction control off, you get the power down a bit too early, and like I said, you're going to be trying to go into that old pit lane again. But we see the top 9 in the pits, so I think we can see a shootout in the last 3 minutes of the session, as we see an AlphaTauri leading the cars. I think that is Hot Speed. Yeah, the Hot Speed's the first car to exit the pits, and I think that's gonna spark a whole how do you even say it? A whole pack of cars rushing out of the pit lane to get obviously try to get pole position.
Yeah, I've just been
Aero's actually gone out.
Yeah, I've just been following Max gone around. I'm not sure if Max was actually on a lap or if he's just doing his out lap. He definitely,
he is on a lap, yeah.
Well, he won't be anymore because he ran wide and definitely would have invalidated. So, well, yeah, he goes back into the pits. So that could be. He might just have time to get out again, but it's going to be close. I don't think Maxcon's going to have time to set another lap here, so it might be 11th place at best for the driver who is currently, I believe, P5 in the standings. So that is not ideal for him.
Yeah, obviously something you have to consider is that Silverstone has a very, very, very long pit lane. A long pit lane, plus you're going, 68 kilometers per hour? It's very hard to predict how long you'll have at the end of the session once you get out of the pits. Obviously, all the drivers playing it safe. The top 4 are on their out laps. Aero is about to be on his hot lap. Going through the last corners, Aero hits the apexes nicely, and he's gonna try his best to get pole here. Crosses the line.
Yep, so Aero will be the first one then. We have 2 minutes to go in the session. Aero is going to lead them around. There'll be a couple of drivers. Aero will be one of them who might get a second chance as well, although with the very high energy consumption here in Silverstone, it might be quite tricky for those drivers. If they mess up early on in the lap, then they'll still have a chance to go again, but if they make a late on mistake, then it could be tricky. But Aero looks clean so far through the first few corners. He's very good at this track, as far as I can tell from... as I say that though, gets a huge snap of oversteer.
Oh, Afari jumps up.
And Afari.
3,000.
And just takes the pole. So Afari was actually the first one then, not Aero, so apologies on that. And Afari now is looking very good into the last few moments of qualifying, but he's going to have to wait for everyone else's Aero. Aero, I think invalidated. Yeah.
Invalidated, yeah. In cups there. Very unfortunate. That's going to be it for Aero, I think. Yeah, only a minute left to go. That's it. It's going to be for P6 or even lower if Lars manages to get a better time.
He'll get a chance, I think. He'll just about make it to the start-finish line. So if he's able to, if he's got enough fuel in, then I think Aero will just about be able to go again. But might be touch and go for him. It'll be very high pressure either way. As you can see, Lamauno here making his way through the first sector of the lap, or into the second sector now. Is he keeping it clean?
Sector 1.
Is he keeping it clean through left field? He is going to be able to do that. It's very nice, smooth on the traction, keeping it right up to the wall on the inside, trying to shave off those crucial milliseconds as he darts the car into Copse now. Full confidence there and no sign of track limits excursions like we saw from Aero. Now into Maggots and Beckett's. He's looking quick through the first couple of apexes, nails every single one of them. A little bit wide on the final one though. Through grass. Beckett's, that's not the perfect line. That'll cost him time all the way down the straight. But he is still improving here, and is everybody else improving? We're going to have to wait and see. Lamauno into Stowe now. He was a bit wide at Stowe there by the looks of things, and into the final couple of corners. Can Lamauno do anything to try and keep up his pole record now? Through the Vale chicane, exiting towards Club, he's just going to plant the throttle. Can Lamauno take pole again? Yes, he can! He can keep the record going, but can anybody else stop him from behind?
Yeah, Shadow is a bit down on his original lap time. It's about 600s. He's got to do it all in the last corners of the track, but he is a 10th up. He is a 10th up in the second sector as he goes through Stowe. Hits the apex nicely. All he has to do is just keep it through the last corners. A bit of oversteer coming out of Stowe into the last two corners. Hits the apex nicely. A bit of curb on the left side, a bit of curb on the right side. Has to plant the throttle down. He does it nicely. It's 6th gear through the line. It's pole position for Shadow.
Shadow gets pole position and steals Lamauno's record. We were wondering how many races could it go on for. Well, there's your answer. It was 5 at best. And Lamauno will now have to, wait until next week to try and get another one as Lrc jumps up into 4th. He was one of the later ones to set a lap, and he does indeed set a lap in Aero back into the pits. Cooper jumps up to 7th now, so Aero not able to improve on that final lap, and he is going to start from 8th place on the grid. But Shadow, the story of the day, finally somebody is able to out-qualify Lamauno. Well done to him.
Yeah, well done. Obviously the Mayas said it was not his track. If he had to choose any track, it wouldn't be Silverstone, but Shadow's taken note of that and pipped him to P1 in qualifying for the Silverstone Grand Prix, and that's your finishing order for the race. You can see Aero unfortunately down into P8. He couldn't finish his last lap. Okram interestingly only in P5.
Yeah, and that will be, a very exciting qualifying session, and I think a precursor to what could be a very exciting race here. We have 2 DRS zones and plenty as well. We've got a few low-speed corners, a few high-speed corners, a few medium-speed corners, so the drivers are going to get every single chance to try and show their skill. And yeah, that gap, those gaps all the way down to... Well, I mean, the top 10 split by 0.6 of a second. If that doesn't...
14... within a second of the leader.
Yeah, if that doesn't scream, I mean, the whole field only split by 2.5 seconds, and down to 18th only 1.5. So if that doesn't scream a fantastic race coming up, then I don't know what does. I literally just realised I had it muted. Well, good job I realised. Here we go then. 5 red lights, and we are underway for the race in Silverstone. Who's going to get a good start here? You can see it was a decent start for Shadow. Shadow's going to hold the lead into the first couple of corners.
Oh, spin
and it was a good start.
Back.
Somebody's gone round to, further down the field.
Max
and another spin, and there's a spin for the Ferrari. There was a collision all the way at turn 1. Smolly out of the session from a collision with Kvyat Bonner, like you say. Cars spewing off the track at the first couple of corners. A lot of runoff for them to use, but it's Shadow who's held the lead. Lrc up into P2. Second. Great start from him. Lamauno's right on the back of him already, though. He's going to try and look for a move on the outside. No, he's not going to be able to find it, and now he's going to come under pressure from Okram on the soft tyres. Is he going to try and go round the outside at Luffield? That would be a very bold move, and Lamauno just about squeezed him out there, shuts the door, but Lrc right onto the back of Shadow.
Behind.
Here comes Lrc trying to fight it for the win. For the lead of the race here. Lrc on the outside of Copse, not going to be able to make that one work, and I think quite sensibly backs out of that one.
Yeah, Arrow was fighting with Fari. Oh, look at that. He is fighting with Fari side by side. He just went around the outside, going to the yeses, and he's made that move stick. Arrow on the mediums. Afari dropping back down once again on the hards. He's dropped back down to P6 in Austria. He's dropped back down to P6 in Silverstone, and here comes Lamar Yes with Okram. Okram has gotten past on those soft hards. A bit of a dreadful lap one for Lamar Yes. He tries sending something down the inside, but it's not enough. And Okram is looking very threatening. Here comes Okram side by side with Lrc, gets him all out of shape, and Okram down the inside
Switch
with the traction, side by side, goes down the inside, not quite able to put the gas down as fast as Lrc. Doesn't have the straight line speed.
Somebody went round. Somebody went round.
He's almost made that move.
Ixis at the back of the field has just gone round at the final corner. It's a spin for Ixis, so no luck again as Okram now going for it on the outside of Lrc, and Okram is going to use those soft tyres to his advantage to get up into P2. So great start to the race for Okram then, already up into second place. He needs to make use of these soft tyres, of course, but now he's going to have a little bit of a gap until Shadow.
There's a Red Bull in the gravel in turn 2, I think. That's Ixis once again. But, yeah, Shadow has also been chasing down by Okram. Shadow got a 1.2 second lead, but Okram saying he's not letting him drive off into the sunset. Okram wants that race win. He wants to make those soft tires work. He's going aggressive for that first stint. He's gone a bit wide in cops, but he's got the overtake set out. On the hanger straights, he's gone a bit wide into Chapel here. Actually, no, that was Beckett's. And now into Chapel, he's gone out of shape and not the exit that he would have wanted. He's not going to let him get past Shadow. As now Lrc is making inroads to Okram as well. But Okram, with the straight line speed and the slipstream, is not letting Shadow go. He's probably going to make a move down into turn 3, I'm saying.
And here goes
Arrow, very close to Lamar Yes.
He's been right on the back for pretty much this whole lap. He caught up quite early on in the first sector, and now Arrow on those medium tyres looking a lot quicker than the McLaren driver ahead of him. So it's the tyre advantage for Arrow. He's going to try and make use of it here. Meanwhile, in the background, you can see Cooper trying to put some pressure on Afari. Again, the medium tyres looking way quicker than the hard tyres at the start of this race, which is what you'd expect. Those hards do usually take a couple of laps to switch on, really. And this is now the perfect time of the race where all of these guys want to capitalise. And here comes Okram now with the DRS. He got a great run out of entry, and Okram is going to have the lead of the race then. There wasn't really a fight that Shadow could put up there, and now all he can do is try and stick in the DRS range of Okram and hope that the Williams is able to tow him along. But already, look at the gap that Okram has pulled out just through those few corners, and Okram now, on the soft tyres, leads the way in this race.
Is this going to be another Okram strategy masterclass? Didn't he go from soft to medium in Bahrain?
He did.
It's quite. If he's cooking the strategy up again, I'd be more than happy to see it, because Okram has used those softs to. I mean, that's what they're meant to do. Be extremely fast, and that's what he's done. He's gone from P5 to P1 in the matter of 3 laps, and he's not stopping now. He's going very aggressive. I think he could go on the hards a bit later on. Silverstone is a pretty high degradation track, so we're going to be seeing Okram in the pits very, very soon, a few laps or so later. But for now, though, Okram has accomplished everything he needs to do, and he needs to get as big of a gap as he can to Shadow. As now Lamar Yes is chasing down Lrc, and Arrow is chasing down Lamar Yes, and Arrow is quite successful, actually. Oh,
Cooper
Frosty
is,
and Cooper, yeah,
Frosty was right on the back of Cooper there, and he got a little bit
down
too
the
close
inside.
into turn 1. Here comes the dive bomb for Frosty into turn 2. He's got the inside line, but Cooper will have the inside into the loop now. And is Cooper going to have the... well, is he going to be able to squeeze out Frosty on the outside? He is. So Cooper able to fend off the Red Bull driver for now. Of course, we would expect Frosty to be the quicker of these two drivers, but Cooper putting up a good defence so far and holds on to P7, sorry.
Yeah, Arrow got very close to Lamar Yes. He got within a tenth, basically, to Lamar Yes with the help of the DRS. And Okram gets a time penalty for track limits. Multiple warnings, the game is saying. And I think he's just cut to track once again in cops. And Arrow on the back of Lamar Yes. And Lrc also seems to be slowing down. So it's going to be a 3-way battle for P3, I think. There's a yellow flag. Oh my god, Okram
has round Okram. Okram has gone round. Okram, the race leader, has just spun out. And German beat as well. German beat spins, and has he made contact? Was there contact between them?
Yeah, German beat in Okram. I think Okram just misjudged where he had to rejoin. German beats. Very unfortunately, the passenger could not react enough to Okram being sideways on the track, and you can't blame him for that. Now he's got a front wing, and he's got a pit. And now his race is basically ruined unless there's a safety car. And there's a yellow flag. It's Okram again in Stowe.
At Stowe with hot tyres, Okram has had a terrible lap 4. Frosty and Cooper fighting it out once again through the first few corners. Side by side again. This time Frosty is much further ahead. He needs to go off the track a little bit to get it done, but looks like the game is okay with that one. So he gets the move, and here comes Aero. He was close, but not close enough to Lamano, and he's going to have to play the patient game again, as he has been doing so far in this race. But Okram spinning out from the lead. It was looking so good for him, but his race might just be over now.
Yeah, Lrc seems to be in threat of an overtake from Lrc. Lrc looks ever quicker on those hards, but Aero has the medium advantage of the mediums, and Aero could go for a move, but as long as Lrc is in the toe of Lrc, I think Aero's pretty much well, he can't do anything, because that slipstream from Lrc is obviously stronger than Aero slipstream to Lrc's. And I think Okram once again spun in Luffield. Absolutely dreadful for him. Those tires too hot for him to continue, basically. And Okram has spun, I don't know, maybe 3 times in the past 2 laps. Not great
and
for
he goes
him,
again now at Cops. It is just... it's all gone wrong for Okram here. He can't get those tyres into check. I don't know if he's running too much tyre pressure or what, but this is basically... I mean, it's a race ruiner for Okram. Without a safety car now, his day is done. So he's just going to have to drive round at the back, try not to spin too much, and pray that there is a safety car. But Lamano still closing in on Lrc further up the field. This is now, of course...
Another spin for Okram in Chapel.
I think I wouldn't be surprised at this point. Clearly something's up with either his tyres or his setup. I don't know what's going on, but not going well for Okram. He's got to hope for a safety car now. But yeah, Lrc is being promoted by this into P2. Shadow back into the lead, and Lamano now trying to put the pressure on once again, but he's still not being able to close up quite enough, and the same goes for Aero behind.
Pablo and Hotspeed were side by side, and now into, I think that's Brooklands. Now Hotspeed is going to try and move on Pablo, I think, not into cups. Not usually what you see, but I mean, if he has a straight line speed, he can go for it. And Okram has retired from this session after a few spins. Okram pretty much realized this race is pretty much hopeless. I've spun on the opening lap, and yeah, I mean, that's what he's decided to do. And yeah, one of Lrc's title rivals out of the race. Sad, very sad for Okram, who's looking very promising for him in that lead.
Yeah, that's a huge shame for him that his day has to come to an early close. Clearly something wasn't going well for him. He's got a yellow in Sector 3 somewhere as well. Not sure who that's for. I've not seen anyone dropping down the order, so I wonder if maybe it was just for Okram's car. Yeah, I was going to say. So yeah, but the battles do continue up the order, and you can see Frosty now, finally after getting past Cooper a couple of laps ago, is straight onto the back of a Ferrari and looking to put some pressure on the Alpine man as well, as he makes his way out of the first few corners there, but again just loses a heap of time on the exit of the loop there and through Aintree, so no moves will be made for anyone, but Lamano getting ever closer to Lrc for P2.
He's getting ever closer, but the gap just falls down in the corners. See, at the exit it's about 5/10 when it was 2/10 at the entry of the hairpin. But Lrc is actually getting closer with the slipstream and into Cops. Yeah, he is ever closer. Like you said, it's 4/10, maybe 3/10. Gonna be once he crosses the DRS line. But look at that, he loses so much time in the S's, and he cannot do anything to basically.
And he didn't lose too much time this time, but on the streets he's, well, we'd usually expect him to be like a rocket ship on the streets. He's definitely quicker than Lrc with the DRS and the toe, but nowhere near close enough to make an overtake, really. So I think Lamano is going to have to try and pressure Lrc into a mistake, effectively. Oh, and, well, I think all the while they are slightly closing up to Shadow. Shadow's not... he's just about got the DRS broken, but if Shadow makes some kind of a mistake here, then this could very quickly turn into the fight for the lead.
Shadow has been driving pretty faultlessly the past 8 laps. He's been doing all he needs to do, drive quick laps. Lrc can't really match the pace of Shadow. Oh, there's a yellow flag. There's a
hot speed. There was something gone wrong at the back. That was Bablo. Bablo dropping down positions after a spin on the exit of the Vale chicane into Club. It's very easy to do that. He's not the first person to do that today, and well, that's a shame for him. He's going to lose quite a lot of time. Actually, dropped about 7 or 8 seconds off the back of hot speed now, and Bablo's going to have to do all of that work again to try and get back ahead of the AlphaTauri driver. Meanwhile, the fighting towards the front does still continues. It does look to me, maybe I'm mistaken on this, but it does feel like every lap they get a little bit closer as Lrc goes off the track at Copse there. Bit of a mistake. It won't cost him too much time, of course. You can just effectively
on Shadow actually, and I think Lrc just got DRS.
Yeah, but he can just pin the throttle there. So this is what I was saying earlier. Lrc might, you can hear the beep, so Lrc does have, no, he doesn't have the DRS open.
He doesn't have DRS.
I thought I heard it, but clearly not. Lrc does not have the DRS, and somebody who does have it is Lamano, right onto the back of him now. This is the closest he's been. Aero's dropped back a little bit, so perhaps the medium tyre's starting to wear out a little bit already. Here we are on lap 8 of the race, so we'll have to keep an eye on that one, but the hard tyres for Lamano seemingly coming alive here now, as he's closing right up to the back of Lrc, but again, losing a little bit of time on the exits.
Yeah, and I mean, Shadow's just, I think he's losing time in Copse. I think that's where he loses the most time, but he builds it back up again. Because obviously Lrc has to check his rear mirror just in case Lamar is having a look down the inside. But yeah, Shadow's driving a good race so far, and obviously when the pit stops come, he's going to be in prime position to take the lead once again. Maybe he's going to try the undercut or the overcut, whatever he decides. We'll be looking at it. But yeah, look how close Lamar is through the hairpin, and he's looking ever closer each lap, ever more dangerous, as expected of him. And yeah, I think Lrc's going to be way more behind Shadow here. Shadow didn't lose much time into Copse, and that is just gonna leave Lamar with an advantage, because Lrc will not have that strong of a slipstream to Shadow, and Lamar once again flicks the DRS open, but he's too far back to make a move into start.
Yeah, well, I did say a lap ago that Aero looked like he was dropping back a bit, but I'm going to take a guess that he might have made a mistake or something, because he's right on the back again now, so he's clearly his tyres haven't gone off just yet, so Aero's still in this fight for sure. Basically the same gap between him and Lamano as there is between Lamano and Lrc, so the battle does continue. It's quite a bit of a train of cars forming. Frosty's dropped back a little bit from afar. He's not quite putting on the same pressure that he was a few laps ago, but yeah, I think we're just at a stage in the race now where we're just sort of waiting as this the fight that is inevitably coming is just boiling away and brewing in the part of Silverstone, shall we call it, and I think at some point it's most definitely going to probably start to bubble over, and that is when we're going to get to see a fight for the win here. And I think maybe perhaps around the time of the pit stops might be the first sign of that action.
Yeah, and once again Lamar, he's actually a bit further back than he was in previous laps. Now it's 4 tenths going into Copse. It was usually 3 tenths going into Copse, and I think that's where Aero loses the most time.
So Aero is now coming under pressure. Yeah, he's coming under pressure from Afari now. Afari right onto the back of him. So Afari might actually be the one making the first of the moves here. See if he can keep it close. You can see battles going on the time screens down the order. But are they going to be close enough? Is Afari going to be able to keep it close through the S section? It looks like he will be.
Aero doesn't have DRS.
Let's see who has the straight line speed advantage. Is Afari going to be close enough? He's gaining, and he's going to go to the inside into Stowe. Can Afari get the move done into P4? Looks like he will. Can Aero fight it? No, he can't, because he dies for the pits. So Aero, I thought his tyres might have been going off, and it looks like they must have been. So Aero, first driver to come into the pits in the top 6.
For Aero. I think that's quite manageable. I think that's what we're gonna see the top 4 doing. No, that overtake on Aero has actually left Afari trailing from the pack a bit, as one of Lamar's threats is in the pits right now, and Shadow actually losing a bit of time to Lrc, not quite enough to make a difference though. Lrc is not gonna have DRS, but Lamar can't really make up much time Lrc isn't making many mistakes, and if he is, he's building that gap up. It's making up for it with his good driving, and Lamar, yes, now 6 tenths back. It's the farthest he's ever been at this section of the track, and he's dropping back even more.
Yeah, and we had a
tenths.
few.
It's ever decreasing, actually.
Yeah, well, we had a few.
It's almost like
few
he's
other
run out of
drivers.
fuel.
We had a few other drivers coming into the pits in that lap as well. It was Cooper and Carlo Bonner both making their first stops as well. So we'll have to see where they shake out. Cooper was actually got
Lrc
jumped by Carlo Bonner, and Lrc, he's you can see he's closed up a little bit, and he does have the DRS open, but he's still nowhere near making any kind of challenge. As we've seen so far, it is quite difficult to pass by the looks of things, and the driver's perhaps struggling a little bit with the dirty air. Of course, these cars were introduced to try and alleviate that, but it's never going to disappear fully, and at a track like Silverstone, especially through the S section right before the straight, can be quite hard to keep up and to try and follow the cars ahead. But we'll have to see, keep an eye on this and see who is able to make what kind of moves, as Frosty is going to make the move to go into the pits now, so following an aero and getting rid of those medium tyre switches and for a set of hards very predictably. And we'll have to see, is Aero going to be able to get the undercut, or will Frosty maybe even get him on the overcut?
Yeah, so I was just watching Lrc for the past few corners. Look at how he managed to get that gap down. Lrc has finally got a move on, and that first opening of the DRS has allowed him to get ever closer to Shadow. And I think he's gonna get closer and closer now as he's got the slipstream. The gap to Shadow is decreasing into Cops. I think we're gonna see an overtake on the Hanger Straight. I think one of them is gonna have to pit soon, and Lrc is faster through Cops. He's gonna have the DRS onto the Hanger Straight. This is gonna be exciting. Maybe he's gonna go for a look down the inside at Stowe. Maybe he's gonna think better of it. But let's stop speculating. Let's actually see it happen. Lrc, nice through Chapel. He's gonna flick the DRS open. Shadow is pretty much helpless to Lawrence's straight line speed here. Lrc has a look down the outside, down the inside. He tries to go down the inside, not close enough, but he is damn close.
Chicane. Not close enough to go for it into the Ville chicane just yet, but Lrc now right onto the back and putting on the pressure. Ixies with another spin, that's a shame for him, but Lrc putting on the pressure once again, and now finally has picked up the pace a bit and is fighting for the lead. Aero, by the way, Lrc goes a bit wide there. Aero did manage to stay ahead of Frosty, so the overcut not quite working out. He was quite a bit of a way back, he was a few seconds behind and still is, so it looks like overcut and undercut, if you're on the same lap at least, or if you do it one lap after each other, then doesn't seem to gain or lose too much time, but we'll have to keep that in mind.
Lrc with the DRS again into the hairpin here. It's where he makes up the most time, obviously with the slipstream and the Cops. He has an advantage in both of those corners. He just seems a bit faster, as Lamaya's cannot get a DRS on Lrc, as obviously Lrc has the advantage of the slipstream. But I think surely the top 6 has to come into the pits sometime soon. They've done 12 laps on those tires, and surely I think they're going to be starting to feel the loss of the grip that they had at the start. But Lrc once again with the DRS. Shadow's weaving to break the toe. He's not quite close enough as he was last lap, but I think I'm not going to be surprised if I see one of them diving for the pits. Not yet.
Somebody who does.
Yes,
Lamano. I was just about to say, I wonder if Lamano dropped back to try and save his tyres. And yeah, Fari joins him. So I was thinking maybe Lamano was trying to save his tyres and go for a set of softs, but clearly not. In for quite a little bit of an early pit stop here. He's going to have to do 13 laps on a set of mediums. So Lamano and Afari both going for a definite undercut here, and we'll have to see. They will be on a quicker compound of tyre, but almost getting blocked in the pits. There was Lamano, Afari coming right ahead of him, but luckily they were quite close together, so nobody actually lost any time. But this is going to be very interesting now. Will they be able to heat up those mediums quick enough, and will they be able to get the overcut and get the jump for the race lead?
Will we see a battle between Afari and Lamayas as they come out of the pits? Not really. About a second separating them out of pit exit. A bit pretty close, and hot speed actually. Going for a move on Aero actually the other way around. Aero going for a move on hot speed. Aero has managed to get the move done, but hot speed is going to have DRS, and Aero is going to have DRS as well from Afari. So that's a bit of a saving grace for Aero to prevent.
And Aero might want to go for a move here, because Afari's going to be on cold medium tyres, and Aero trying to look up the inside, see if he can find a way through. He's on the harder compound of tyres now, so Aero might struggle a little bit once Afari does get the tyres warmed up, so he knows that he's got to get a move on if he wants to get the move. He's quite close, but he's not close enough, so Afari has successfully jumped Aero in the pit stops then, and Aero might be able to get ahead.
Shadow's boxed.
Shadow pits, there you go. So Shadow trying to cover off the undercut then, I would imagine, and I think because it was only one lap, I think Shadow is probably going to be able to get away with this one, but who knows. Lamano will have nice and warm tyres to try and combat this, as Racer has crashed out of the session somewhere. I'm not sure where that was, but
he's just pit. He's just pit and retired.
Okay.
But Lrc isn't doing himself any good by staying out on those old hards. He's going to be losing time to the fresh mediums of Lrc and Afari. But I mean, if Lrc think that's the better option, well, more power to him.
Here comes Shadow on the pit exit then. Where is Lamano going to be? There he is. So Lamano is quite close here. He's not close enough to get ahead, but he will have the advantage of warm tyres against the freezing cold tyres. Yeah, warm tyres and DRS versus Shadow's cold mediums. So Lamano, this could be his chance to fight for the race lead. Shadow getting very twitchy and falls off the track there. And Lamano is going to sweep through on the inside, didn't even have to make the move, and that is the effect of the cold tyres kicking in for Shadow there, and that has just cost him potentially the win of this race.
Yeah, very unfortunate for Shadow. Very cold tyres out of the pits, obviously. He couldn't get them warmed up quickly enough, and he's a bit too ambitious on the exit of the corner, and he's gone wide. And I think he's going to try to make up for that mistake 1,000 times, and he's going to be right on him. He has DRS going to the hangar straight, and well, we've seen it in qualifying. He is faster than Lrc on paper, but in the race situation, anything can happen as Blondie and Lrc pits, and Lrc goes on for the mediums. 15 lap hards being removed from the car. He's actually is he going to come out ahead? That is the question.
Close here. So here comes Lamano onto the main straight now, sets the fastest lap of the race. He is flying on those medium tyres, and where is he going to be in relation to Lrc?
There he is.
He's ahead. Is he ahead? No, he's not ahead. That's side by side almost, and Lrc is going to get past. So Lamano has gotten ahead. Doesn't even need to do it on the cold tyres this time. Lamano is your new race leader.
Yeah, the undercut proving to be
Shadow runs wide again.
Extremely successful. As now Lrc is on the cold tire, so that's just Lrc just running away with the lead there. Lrc on the cold tires can't do anything, and Shadow, who's just had another competitor in between him and the race lead added. Shadow is not going to be happy about that either. He has to dispatch Lrc as quickly as possible, and otherwise Lrc is going to drive off into the sunset, like I said, and he's going to win the race. And yeah, Lrc has to get a move on if he wants to claim back what was once his. Which is the race lead, and we've had a yellow flag. That is an Alpine spun on the gravel. Unfortunately, I think that's Jacques. He's gone himself out of the gravel. But yeah, I mean, if a safety car happens, it's going to be very interesting. And now
he's got the straight line speed.
DRS.
He goes for it on the outside into Stowe. He's level with Lrc as they enter the corner. Lrc is not going to give this up easily. Tries to push him wide. They're side by side. They bang tyres almost going into the chicane. Shadow on the inside getting squeezed by Lrc. Lrc doing everything he can to hold the position, but there's no traction to be found for Shadow. Can't get the switchback done, and Lrc successfully defends the position. But Shadow right on the back, and I would imagine quite infused with passion to try and make this move work. Is he going to try up the inside? He is. But there's contact, and round goes right, and he gets hit by Afari. He gets hit by Afari, Shadow, and they're going 3 wide now. Aero's going to get a chance to make some moves from this as well. Afari, I think, must have gotten damage there. He clattered into the side of the Mercedes, and now this has suddenly become a 4-way fight for second. They're banking tyres on the straight now. Tensions raging between these two. Lrc will not be happy with that one, because all of this has just let Lamano try and run away with the race lead here, and all of a sudden, 4-way fight, and Aero's just been invited into all of this, and well, controversy resumes just like we said it would do at some point in the race.
I could have been distracted by a Fari joining the fight. I almost missed. I almost missed the crash between the two drivers, and Lrc is in prime position to attack Shadow right here. Shadow is going to be in front. Lrc is going to have the DRS and the slipstream, and I think it's going to be a fairly easy move into Stowe as we see a backmarker Alpine with blue flags. He gets a bit of a slipstream, Shadow, but that's not going to help him when there's a fast approaching Lrc into Stowe. Is he going to go down the inside? No, he isn't. Very, very close between the two drivers. Lrc is not going to be happy at all. I think he showed that with banging tires with Shadow coming into, what was it, Brooklands, I think. And yeah, Lrc is not going to be happy about that, and he's going to be driving with anger, and he's going to be ever faster.
Yeah, we'll see. Lrc, I wouldn't be surprised to see him driving like a man possessed now after being basically barged out of the way by Shadow. They were, well, they were 3 wide going into this corner last lap, and, well, Lrc on the inside came off worse as somebody, I think, there was a mistake, I think, for Ixies in the background. Cost him some time, bringing out the yellow flags, but not been too many accidents in this race, and it doesn't look like there's going to be any sign of a safety car. So if there isn't, then Lamauno is perfectly in the driving seat to, well, just run away with this one. There might have been some competition before the last couple of laps, but Shadow and Lrc making contact has just opened up a 3.5 second lead as Ixies now retires from the session.
Retired from the session. Very unfortunate for Ixies. Yeah, those first few laps didn't help him. Obviously the spins that put him off. And now he's retired from the race. Very unfortunate for Ixies. Bad luck continues for Ixies. How many races has it been?
As Carlebon and Cooper trading places as well here, and it looks like the Ferrari has gotten ahead. We had another yellow flag for a second there, but the fight resumes again on the back straight here, but it looks like Shadow has got the better pace than Lrc. He's been able to pull away a little bit. I don't know if Lrc might have picked up some damage in the collision, but he's now coming under a bit of pressure from a Ferrari from behind, so Lrc is, well, he's still in a good position in the podium, and round goes Shadow! Shadow spins it all on his own. Everybody's been able to make it through behind him, but Shadow spins out from second place and loses all of the work that he had just done, and is going to be dropping down to 6th place now. What a shame for Shadow.
Tragedy for Shadow. That's the last thing you want to see from Shadow. He's been the leader of the race since well, from lap 1 to lap 10. And he's lost it all with that spin. And I actually saw Lrc being quite cheeky. After his spin, Lrc waved about as a sign of saying, waving goodbye to Shadow. He's not going to be seeing him again. But one guy he is seeing is a Fari in his rear view mirror, and it's not going to take being cheeky to get past a Fari, and a Fari looking ever more dangerous. He's a bit his tires are a bit older than Lrc's, but I don't think that's going to play a major part, as Afari is going to have TRS, and he's going to be basically 1/10, maybe 2/10 closer to Lrc after the straight. Maybe even 3/10. Look how close he's getting.
Right on the back of Lrc now. Afari has closed up the gap pretty much fully, but not close enough to make a move just yet. It looks like Lrc has a slight advantage in straight line speed, so it might be a little bit tricky for Afari to make the move here. Of course, we've seen Lrc putting up a very good defence from multiple drivers in the race so far, so we'll have to see. It's going to be quite a tall order for Shadow. It's not Shadow, for Afari, sorry. It's my turn to make that mistake now, as Lamauno sets the fastest lap of the race, just showing he's still not just going to sit back and relax after being handed a gap, but that said, he's, well, the timing screen says he's dropped back, but I can clearly see he's not. Yep, there you go, 4 seconds once again. So Lamauno continues to extend his lead, but this is then the fight for second. This is the actual fight. With only 6 laps remaining in the race without a safety car, this will be the fight for the podium here, and we have 4 drivers all vying for it, because Frosty has effectively replaced Shadow now and joined the order in P5.
Look how close Afari is.
He's right on the back now. Here comes Afari then. Is he going to be close enough? Well, no, he's, like I say, not quite got the straight line speed, but there must have been a mistake there from Lrc, and Afari closing up, and he's going to be very close as they head into Maggots and Beckett's. we'll see if he's, in theory, should have more downforce than Lrc. That'll be what's making him slower, and yeah, you can see he gains through the S's, and here comes Afari now. He's a bit closer than he was last lap. This could be the chance for Afari. You can see him closing in. Lrc goes to the inside. Afari's going to try and go for it on the outside. Can he make it work? No, he wasn't even able to get alongside. And he can't get the switch back either, so Lrc defends it well. Safety car is deployed. I saw Jacques had just DNF'd from the session, so that's a big shame for him, but safety car deployed with 6 laps to go. It's happened again.
Are people going to be pissing for the softs?
Well, no, nobody's close enough yet, but we'll have to see. Will Lamano pick up the safety car then? This will decide the strategy. Where is it? Can we see? Yes, he will. So, nobody's going to be able to pit then. So, the tyres will be locked in, and that, for the top 3, is brilliant news, but for Aero and Frosty, on the hard tyres, they are not going to be best pleased about that one. But this means now a very entertaining end to this race coming up.
Yeah, the last thing I expected in the last 6 laps, it was a very good run for 20 laps, and unfortunately Jacques' DNF has caused a full safety car, which gives Lrc a chance, which gives Afari a chance. Actually, Lrc might get injured by the lapped car of Saul Goodman here. Once again, lapped cars may be playing a role in basically in how the racing will be. As now, Saul Goodman, the lapped car, is unfortunately between Lrc and Lemaillez, which is the last thing Lrc wants, to be honest.
Yeah, well, luckily for him, though, it is only one car, so Saul will be able to get out of the way straight away, but unfortunately that does mean for him, his race is, well, pretty much done now. That's the sad thing about the game is that unfortunately with Codemasters being the way they are, they've decided not to code in a mechanic to let the backmarkers through. So yeah, race is pretty much done for Saul Goodman, but if all hell breaks loose ahead of him, then he might still be able to get points, who knows?
Who knows? And we've seen a lot of cars opting for the soft, actually. Basically, everyone from P9 downwards.
Yeah, so...
And,
yeah, so we have, as you were rightly pointing out, we have now 7 drivers on the
Saul
soft
actually
tyres.
gets out of the way.
Oh yeah, he's gone to the pits, that's right. So, well, interestingly, I guess going for another set of soft tyres, and Shadow follows him in.
A lot of people.
Well, I tell you what, though, for Shadow and Cooper, that is not a bad decision because from everyone from 9th downwards had already pit, so they won't lose too many places. They might lose, well, I think 2 or 3. Well, both Mercedes in the pit, so Saul's held up his teammate there, and that's going to allow Cooper, I think, to jump ahead of Shadow. So Cooper getting a free place there in the pit stops, and yeah, indeed he will. So Cooper up into what will be P8 in the race, but yeah, because everybody further down the order would pit already, that means that, well, Shadow, Cooper have both been able to capitalise, get themselves onto a set of soft tyres, and potentially be in a very good position once this race resumes.
A bit of deja vu from Baku, obviously. A lot of cars opting for the soft, not the whole grid this time, but yeah, it's gonna be very, very, very close. Obviously, the soft tyres, the fastest ones, and I guess the drivers are going to be showing their true pace on low fuel, the softest tire they can get, and I think that's going to be good to see, especially at the bottom of the field. Not much going on there. I mean, there's some matches that we might have missed, but in the grand scheme of things, I think we're looking for a very exciting race finish.
Yep, and now with no lapped cars in the way, it's going to be everybody in the correct order. So we have one hell of a finish coming up then, because we have soft tyres from 7th downwards. We'll have to see how big the advantage is. I'd imagine it should be pretty big, a lot bigger than it was in Baku. So the soft tyre runners might just be able to try and scramble to make up as many places as they can. And I think we'll have a few more laps than we did in Baku as well. Safety car came out earlier, so I would imagine not this lap, but I think next lap the safety car should be in, and we'll be getting underway for what would then be, that would be 4 laps, I think, or 3 or 4 laps of green flag racing, with everybody jostling for position to try and fight it out for the wins. It's the top 3 on mediums, Lamano, Lrc and Afari. they're looking pretty good at the front, but then Aero and Frosty on the hards, both very quick drivers of course, but will struggle especially to get the heat into those tyres and might be vulnerable on the restart. Blondie in behind them, running very well in P6 in this race, but he's the first driver who will be coming under siege effectively from the army of soft tyre runners queuing up behind of them, that army headed by Carlo Bonnet in P7 in the McLaren, running pretty well in this race, but of course with 12 seconds of penalties, so his charge may be a bit stunted by that, and I don't think he's going to be able to make up too much ground in the race here once the checkered flag falls. But Cooper behind him, again with 6 seconds, so Cooper might struggle as well, but then Shadow, only 3 seconds for him, he might be able to make up some places here, and then Maxcon and Hotspeed 10th and 11th with no penalties. They could have a very good chance if everyone ahead of them is able to get a move on as well.
Aero and Frost are gonna have to put up a defense of a lifetime against literally everybody behind them. Obviously Blondie on the medium is not gonna help them, and everybody else at the soft is gonna be even worse. So let's see how it turns out for them, but Lamias, Lrc and Afari are the people to watch right now. The top 3 is heating up, and this is the closest they've ever been, so I'm praying to God we get to see some racing, we get to see side-by-side battles, wheel-to-wheel racing, and maybe we see a different race winner for Silverstone. Who knows?
Yeah, we've only had 2 race winners this season. Lamano's won all but 1, which the other one being Jeddah won by Okram. So we'll have to see. Can we finally get ourselves a new race winner, or can Lamano? He wasn't able to hold his qualifying record, but can he hold his race wins record? We'll have to wait and see on this one. But I think the safety car could be in this lap, and there it is. It will be in this lap, so that will mean 3 laps of flat-out racing to decide the win. That's 1 more than we had in Baku, so that could be the difference maker, and that'll mean on the final lap of the race DRS will be enabled for any last ditch moves into the final few turns. So Lamano gets his tyres warmed up as he possibly can. Aero and Frosty will be doing the same, I'd imagine, but even more, trying to get as much heat into those hard tyres as possible to try and switch them on. But it's now up to Lamano to decide when he wants to go. The field have got to try and close up a little bit here, and there he goes. Yeah, Lamano goes early, so the field has from about 5th or 6th downwards dropped back a little bit, but Lamano gets a clean restart. Lrc doesn't though. Lrc spins on cold tyres, and Lrc is going to lose so many places now. That is such a shame for him. Lrc drops all the way down the order to 14th place, as one of the Mercedes dropping down there as well. Oh, that was Saul Goodman letting everyone through, but that is a huge shame for him. And here comes the challenge from Frosty on Aero, trying to look for a move, and in fact Frosty has gotten ahead. Frosty ahead of... Sorry, no, he's not gotten ahead. My apologies. Aero's still ahead. Frosty in behind, and Afari now is going to be the one to make a challenge on Lamano for the race win.
Is he going to be able to, though? The time is ticking down. Frosty has gotten Aero in a sense of time penalties. Aero has a 3-second time penalty. And Frosty, obviously in P4, is going to capitalize on that. Maybe he's going to get a podium if it is like it is right now. If the order is like it is now. And Afari, I don't know if he can put the challenge on. I mean, I'm feeling quite skeptical. Lamar, yes, has been pretty tough, but he has lost a lot of time out of Chapel. Afari.
Can Afari do anything? He won't have the DRS, and there's that straight line speed advantage. Afari running much higher wings in this race, and that means that on the straights he's not able to get close enough, but we will have, on the final lap of the race, DRS will be available down that straight. So if Afari can keep himself within distance, try and keep as close as he possibly can. It's a very tall order for him, but he was able to do it a few times last season. These two, of course, rivals for the title in Season 3, and can Afari try and get the one-up now? He can't get the championship back, but he might just be able to get a little bit of joy out of a race win here in Silverstone if he can keep it close enough.
He's draining his battery, Afari, and look how
close he is. Oh, look at the move in the background. Shadow going for it now on Carlo Bonnet. He'd already gotten past, and Carlo Bonnet dives it up the inside of Blondie instead. And Shadow's going to try and get through all 3 of them. They're 3 wide into entry, and through goes Shadow, but no, he can't do it. And Carlo Bonnet stays ahead. Yeah, Carlo Bonnet stays ahead, but Shadow's going to try it on the outside now into Brooklands. Can he make it work? No, Carlo Bonnet defends, so great defending from the McLaren driver, both of them on soft and up the inside. That's close, too close. Contact made, and off the track goes Carlo Bonnet, he makes contact.
Spins out. And Shadow
That is a huge shame for Shadow. Once again, he was back finally about to make up some places in the race. He'd already made one on Cooper, made another one on Blundy, but now he is dropped right down the order and getting wiped out by the McLaren. Is going to drop down out of the points in this race. But here's the fight for the lead then. Afari a lot closer this time. He'll get an even stronger toe, so obviously not going to be able to be close enough to make a move just yet. But these two clear at the front of the field. DRS coming in on the final lap of the race. Will it be enough for Afari to try and get the win?
He looks down. He looks for his braking zone there. I don't think it was going to be a look down the inside. And Afari has it all to win on the last lap of the race. Lrc is waving about, and Afari is going to have to capitalize. He's going to have to use that DRS to his advantage, because that's the last thing he'll ever get in the last lap of the British Grand Prix.
Romano goes deep.
Romano
goes deep, and Afari's going to try it. Sends it off the inside. Afari's got it. Afari's got it, but they're side by side. Side by side through Aintree. Romano won't have the DRS. Afari has got it. He's got the slipstream now. Romano did get back ahead, but can Afari try it? Round the outside, he's going to have to go. Romano's going to force him the long way. He's going to try and get the switchback though. Later apex. Here comes Afari. This is the fight for the win in Silverstone. Going to get the switchback out of Luffield. Losing a little bit of traction. There's fighting going on further down the order between Germanbeat and Lrc. They're side by side through Luffield as well, and those two are going to be neck and neck heading towards Copse.
Into Copse they go. It's Lrc 800 going into Copse, and now it's going to be 2 tenths separating them. Afari's growing ever closer to Lrc. He's going to have DRS down the hanger straight, and he's going to have to use it to his advantage. Otherwise, the race win is just going to be falling away from him here. As he's got DRS open,
here
he's using overtake. Is he going to go down the inside? No, he's not. He's opting for the outside as they go into Stowe. Lrc goes a bit wide. He's opting for the switchback. He's going to go round the outside into the last.
Can he do anything? He dives
it. Down the inside is the last ditch dive bomb on Lrc, but Lrc prevails.
Here comes the switchback.
He can't get the switchback hooked up.
He's trying it.
He can get the
into
switchback
the final turn.
To the line, but Lrc comes home to win the British Grand Prix. It's very close between him and Afari, but it was so close. It was Afari neck and neck with him, wheel to his side pod. That is gut-wrenchingly close to Lrc, but he's come out in P2 once again, and that is gut-wrenching for Afari.
That was a brilliant, brilliant effort from Afari, giving us an incredible end to the race once again, and he did everything he could. He got so close, but I have to feel for him. It's a big shame for Afari, but congratulations to Lrc. Keeps the streak alive, and in some style as well.
Lrc, the master of the photo finish, comes home in the nick of time to win the British Grand Prix.
That is one hell of a finish. Getting to see those two duke it out side by side. They kept it clean as well, which was brilliant to see. Fantastic racing from the two of them, and Afari getting so close to glory there, but just couldn't do it at the line. Lrc getting just about good enough of an exit off the final corner and takes home the win here in Silverstone. Congratulations to Frosty as well. Brought it home in P3 to take the final spot on the podium after Aero got demoted from the penalties.